Yejin has been a medical, surgical, critical care nurse, clinical research coordinator, and a public health educator in Seoul, Mozambique, and Maryland. She currently works as a nurse coordinator, leading and managing research, operations, protocol, and the nursing staff. Welcome, Yejin.
Thank you for having me.
Of course. I want to start the conversation by talking about when you first moved to the US. How was the transition and why did you pick Maryland?
I started working as a nurse in Maryland from 2022. Before I only worked in Korea and briefly in Mozambique. The reason I moved to USA is I really like to travel and explore new things, new areas. So I thought like working abroad is like best combination. And then the reason I picked Maryland was just because it was direct contract with the hospital. I had a New York license, but I'm from Seoul, so I wanted to like kind of escape the city vibe. Now I'm kind of missing it, but I thought Maryland was a mix of suburban and rural area and it's close to DC. I traveled to New York in 2020 when I introduced myself as a nurse. People here really genuinely interested in my career and they really appreciate it in like very respectful way, which I never felt same way in Korea. So I was like, think why like 미국까지 looks so happy and why
Right.
like these are considered to be the most respectful professional in America. I was wondering and I want to explore more. I feel like I'm not so much belongs to Korea because of the older milestone we set in our society. Like, for example, 30, you have to have a husband, 35, you have to have a kid. I just wanted to explore and live. So I'm happy to be here.
Great. You notice the different perspective when you tell people that you're a nurse here. What
Yeah.
was it like to work as a nurse in the US and how was it different than in Korea?
In my 2 years, very humble experience, I think there are four main differences. So responsibility, role, salary, and schedule. Definitely here, they are asking you a lot of responsible. You can give a lot of PRM meds. Of course, it's with your nursing judgment, but it's all your responsibility for the patients or family. They want to discuss more about the treatment plan. They ask you a lot of questions. Enroll in Korea, nurse does everything. But here, I feel I can focus more on nursing stuff because like we have RT, pharmacist, phlebotomy. Everybody understands they have a different roles. And this extends to the nurse and doctor's relationship. I don't feel so hierarchy here or like superior subordinating relationship because we all understand that we have a different role to make a best outcome.
Right.
And then salary, so we paid by hourly. I think many nurses here are not so much complain about the overtime because anyway, they will get paid. I think it's pretty fair. In my opinion, many American nurses are money driven. They can be as professional or as nice as they want, as much as they get paid. Korean nurses are very undervalued and hospitals should stop asking nurse to sacrifice, be a nightingale, be an angel. They should just pay them more. And then last but least, this is like best part. I really like to make my own schedule in America and we also only have to work 3 days in a week. So I think that's cool. When you get sick or emergency situation, have backup nurses. That's really nice system. That's four main differences I noticed for last 2 years.
Okay. You laid out really good points as a nurse, like you make your own schedule, like you get paid for overtime. I heard in Korea you don't get paid for overtime, it's salary.
At least where I worked, it was like, yeah.
How about the cons? Did you see anything that, oh, I think it was better in Korea?
Of course, language. English is my
Oh,
second
yeah.
language. I always think that is it rude to say? Is it culturally acceptable? Where I worked, it was almost 10 years ago. We worked as a team, so I didn't have my patients. I felt safer because I always had like a backup partners. Here, it's like my own patients. If I screw, that's screw.
So it was more like a team in Korea.
You always have backup support, but
Uh-huh.
also your senior nurses will get involved a lot, which can be stressful.
I want to ask you about your current job as a nurse coordinator.
I recently switched my job as a research coordinator. I'm still on my training. So study coordinator is a person who organizes or coordinates a study. As a study being conducted, we follow the protocol. We sometimes recruit the participants and make sure there's no protocol deviation. So it's very important to communicate. I do the coordination or communication between sponsor, which is a pharmaceutical company, and participants, our patients, and then the doctor investigator. So the reason I changed my job is fixed schedule. I have all my weekend off and then possible home office. Once a week, I can do the home office. I told you I really like to travel. So it opens the door to the international company like global CRO or international pharmaceutical company opportunity for me without getting like a certificate each country. Yeah, it was a little bit stressful for the transition, but I'm enjoying it.
Congrats. I'm happy that you're happy.
Sometimes I miss my people in hospital, teamwork. I'm kind of stuck inside of my office, so there's not so many interaction and it's a lot of documentation and reading and protocol stuff. It's really different from what I did before because especially in ICU, it's everything's so chaos. But I'm also happy nobody's gonna die in my shift, so that's good.
And what kind of research studies are these?
I work in an institution of human virology. So we take every study related to virology, a lot of HIV study, Hep C, Hep B.
So you're working 5 days a week, but one day you work from home.
Yes, once I get my training done.
Okay. Oh, that's
But
really nice.
my manager is super flexible. I really like the flexibility.
When I was watching your YouTube videos, I really liked the ones that you took in Mozambique. I've never been to Africa and I really want to. How was your experience as a public health nurse and educator there?
I loved it. I miss it so much. It was so unique and special experience. It grew me a lot professionally, also personally. It was very challenging. Mozambique is one of the poorest countries in Africa. Korean government built a hospital there. It was so interesting because it's a Mozambican hospital and everybody who works there, the staff are Mozambican. Medical equipment are all Koreans because they all brought from Korea. But the Korean government needs someone to watch them and then give them education. So they sent me there. And it was very challenging because I went there during the COVID season. So it was very difficult for me to wear a mask.
Yeah.
Sometimes the heat goes to like 40 or 45 degrees.
Oh,
Of
wow.
course, without AC. Also, water quality was not so good. At the end of the contract, the cholera was raged throughout the region that I worked. So also work-wise, it was challenging because very different work ethic and work environment. I have to give a lot of lecture to like doctors or nurses, but they will never be on time. 1 hour delay, it was easy. So I always have to get some treats like food or some pens. They could come. Also, they speak Portuguese, so I had to have my own translator to speak English to Portugal. Also, very poor equipment, resources. We had to literally count every vaccine, like rabies vaccine, because inpatient people get only one syringe per day. So we have to reuse it. Many surgeries were delayed because there was no medical equipment. But I really miss it because people were so nice. They started to dance. They're so humble and they're so caring and appreciate everything. So even though they don't have food, they always share. Yeah, I don't feel any danger at all. Yeah, it was really nice experience.
I really enjoyed your videos. I saw that you brought the Korean pens so people can come for the sessions.
And they loved it.
That's a great incentive.
Of course, they don't have EMR, so they had to write a lot.
How did you apply for this role? Were you a nurse in a hospital?
At that time, I was doing COVID vaccine Arbeite. And then I saw it. They required 7 years of nursing experience and English speaking. I had a master's degree, so it helped me to apply there. And then some interview and cholera and yellow fever vaccine. It took me some time. I went through this with NJ University. They have a lot of programs like that. If you have a proper experience and wanted to go, apply. AOFIH.
Thank you. With your direct patient care experience, critical care and med surg and global health, as well as research, what should be the focus in nursing patients?
I thought a lot about this. Patient-centered care is really important. What makes us different from doctors, they cure the disease, but nurses, they care the person, like an individual human beings. Everybody has their own stories. Same hypertension, nurse caring is different from each patient, even though they have the same diagnosis. It's important to listen to the patient. What do they want and what's their story? That's really important to taking care of the patient.
Right. It's a very hard thing because as a nurse, we are also human beings. So it gets difficult sometimes, but for sure, we have to see them from head to toe and inside and out.
What makes you a good nurse? you listen to them and note small things. It's really important. I like to talk with my patients, not only just medical stuff, but in their life in general. When you know them better, this really helps me.
And I think it helps in life too, what we learn as a nurse.
Definitely, yeah.
Like catching small things.
Sometimes I don't want to notice things,
Yeah.
like unpleasant things in our daily life, but sometimes I get to notice. It helps, but also
Yeah.
sometimes I want to like ignore
Right.
things.
Yeah, it has been more than 2 years since you came here. What are you interested in nowadays? I know that you just had a job change. What's your passion lies right now?
I love to travel.
Uh-huh.
Right now it's a little bit difficult because I work 5 days in a week, but before I work 3 days and then I have like 8 days off easily. Me and my husband really love to travel a lot.
Mhm.
Recently we went the RV truck and we just hit the road for 2 weeks.
Oh,
West Coast.
wow.
America is really nice for the like great nature here. There are so many national parks. Recently we went to like Yellowstone, Grand Teton, Rocky
It's
Mountain.
beautiful.
It's beautiful there. I feel really humble, surrounded by this great nature, and it ventilates me a lot. Every time I meet new people there, it really inspires me and it motivates me to have a better career and better life. So whenever I have a chance, we go to the travel a lot.
Oh, nice. Like when I'm talking to you right now, I
Yeah.
see and hear and feel a lot of positive vibes from you.
Oh.
What are you stressed about?
I'm very 소심하다. Like I
Shy?
care. Sometimes I cannot let it go. Like when people say something to me, I overthink it. Like, did I do something wrong?
Mm.
How could I have been better, done better, or what should I have not done? You know, sometimes it's like just nothing. You know, maybe they had a bad day. I get stressed when my surroundings are not happy. Sometimes I feel like I'm people please and I wanted to make sure everybody's all right. And sometimes I forget take care of myself. So
Right.
recently, this is like my long-term goal to take care of myself too.
And it's
Yeah.
difficult too, like, because we see sick people all the time and we have to catch nuances. Yeah.
Exactly. If patients say something to me, I think about it. Some people advise me, just ask them, what does that mean? Then okay. But I like think myself. So this is something I have to work on.
Culturally, it's different too, and in Korea and
Sure,
here.
sure.
Yeah.
Here people are like more direct.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, they'll
Mhm.
say things in your face.
When did you move to US?
I moved here 2011.
Are you alone or is your family here?
No, my family's in Korea.
Oh, me too, me too.
Yeah.
Go to Korea a lot.
Yeah,
You
like
like it
once a
here?
year. That's my goal. How about
Mm.
you? Do you go often?
I went to Korea last year and then I'm trying to go again next year, only to see my family. Other than that, I think Korea is too far away and too expensive. I don't know, same amount of money I would go to like Southeast Asia or like South America, but sometimes I miss my family, so I try to visit.
The flight
Yeah.
tickets are way more expensive after
Oh
COVID
yeah.
too.
And it's too far away. I feel like almost 3 days just moving.
Do you have to go to like New York or Boston to go to Korea?
DC.
Okay.
Yeah. There's a direct flight.
It has been more than 2 years since you settled here. What
True.
has helped you in managing and growing finance? Or it hasn't helped, that will be helpful as well.
People think you can earn a lot, you can save a lot in America if you work as an American nurse because they pay you a lot, right? High income helps for sure. Every time my friends in Korea ask me about the finance stuff, I tell them America is really expensive to live. You have to pay for the rent, and except for the big city like New York or Chicago, you need to have a car. I never had a car in Korea, but first year in America, I had to buy a car. You have to pay like car insurance, health insurance are expensive. Don't tell me about all the credit score. And also, of course, the traveling is not helpful. But I tried one thing since I came here. Whenever I have some savings, rather I placed it in my bank account, I started to buy some stocks, mostly ETFs. I don't do a lot of research. I just buy whatever I like, Disney, Starbucks, Coca-Cola, or like a lot of ETFs. I think it's better than just rest money inside of my bank accounts. Let's see. That's something I started since I came here.
Yeah, we all start from nothing, right?
I
Good
have
for
to
you.
learn from you how to make a good portfolio.
No, I do ETFs too, like S&P 500, because I don't want
Yeah.
to study individual stocks.
I haven't sold anything, so I don't know, but so far it's increasing.
That's awesome. I want to keep it until I'm grandma. I don't look at it
Oh,
every day.
yeah, I also buy it every time I get a salary and then I try to forget about it.
Yeah, I think
Yeah,
that's a good
yeah.
way. How can the audience connect with you online if they have questions?
I have a YouTube channel, 미국 간호사 예스진. 예스진 is my nickname because I always like try to stay positive. Yes, yes. I shared my story as a nurse, difference between Korea and America. I sometimes teach English expression. There are some vlogs from Mozambique, so you can check it out.